The news that nobody has the balls to report.
Why am I the only one breaking stories like this? You can call me Uncle Turtleboy, Clarence, Aidan. I don't care what you call me.
Did you not say that you were gonna take my baby out of revenge and make him a transgender baby?
I think they don't like the things that I'm saying and they want me to stop saying them, but I'm not. I'm never gonna stop. Now, these are the kind of stories, guys, that must be told.
I'm just a guy who's breaking stories and reporting news from my basement.
Where the hell is everyone?
Only 14 people here now.
What is happening right now?
Okay, people are coming in now. I don't know what happened.
Where is everyone? We started the freaking show. There's literally not a single comment here. Okay, they're getting used to this whole thing. So new thing, guys. Okay, the crazy new thing. I'm gonna do this thing where I start on time from now on. I'm starting at 9:00. I know people are used to like the 9:10 thing, so maybe that's why no one's here. We're doing 9:00 sharp every single day. We're getting start. We're new format around these parts. We're just gonna immediately jump right into the content. Immediately, we're gonna skip the whole where to share it. You know where to share it. You know what our Facebook page is, right? You know where to find everything. So we can just skip over all that bullshit and we can just jump right into the content. And that's what we're going to do from now on. So, yeah, go ahead and make sure you're here at 9:00. Get here early. Just get here early. Start commenting. That helps the algos. Give us a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification button. And because we got a lot, I just want to jump into it. I don't want to waste time with the introductions. It's the same shit. You guys know it all now. So what we're doing, if you watch Saturday's show, we're going to do a first story first, and then we'll do the where you repping and all that stuff when people are already here, because more people come in as the show goes along anyway. And I see people rolling in here now. Spread the word. Okay. We are starting on time from now on. That's my new thing. Punctual Turtle Boy. Okay. So that's how it's going to work from now on. Yeah. It's 9:02. We start at 9:00 sharp. That's what we're doing. 9:00. When we have a 9:00 show, that's our new shit from now on. 9:00. We're starting right when it says it is. Turtle Club might be a little late. We'll see. But the live show, 9:00 sharp. That's just what we're doing from now on. New year, new turtle, if you will. I actually had a good meeting today with some representatives of Locals and Rumble. And we're going to be, they're cool, man. What I liked about them is that they seem to actually want me to be on their platform, which is cool. And I met with the CEO actually today of Locals, and they kind of pitched to me why I should start using their platform. And what we're going to do is we're going to integrate it so that like if you join Turtle Club, you're automatically subscribed to our Locals channel for free, like for the premium stuff. So you'll see what we do in the coming year. It's going to be completely different here on Turtle Boy. We're no longer going to be on YouTube. We are going to be on Rumble full time. So make sure we're getting close to 1,000 subscribers on Rumble. Go subscribe to that. Subscribe to our Locals channel. Subscribe to everything, because we're out of this bitch. Man. I'm not doing the censorship thing anymore. I'm not doing the whole coded language where we don't say vaccine or anything like that. I don't give a shit anymore. I am so sick and tired of having videos taken down, of quality creators taken down. There is a viable alternative out there now with Rumble and with Locals. And we're going to start using those because I'm done playing their stupid game. So anyway, guys, welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start off tonight talking about our old friend, Tony Branch. I don't think we need to relitigate what's going on, but a lot of people are always asking me, what's up with court, Turtle Boy? And where's Tony Branch? Any court updates on that? Yeah, we do have a court update on that, actually. I have a hearing coming up for the summary judgment. So summary judgment is basically the same thing as a motion to dismiss. Okay. It comes after the regular motion to dismiss. And it's, after discovery, basically. And so we've made our plea for it. Tony made a very weak, limp dick sort of reply in writing, and now there will be a two-party hearing, which my lawyer will go against Tony Branch. I don't think he has a lawyer again. He hired a lawyer for like a month, and that's all he could afford. And so we will make our hearing. So I'm going to be at that hearing in Brockton on December 8th at 2 p.m. It's in Plymouth Superior Court. All are welcomed and encouraged to come. It'd be cool to have some turtle riders in the courtroom. I'll be doing a post court press conference afterwards to discuss it. I don't know if the judge will make a ruling right then and there. That'd be cool if he did. If he's just like, get this fuck out of here, I'm not doing this anymore. But this has been going on now for several years. This stupid lawsuit. Again, I got sued by a man who turned out to be because of a blog from 6 years ago that I didn't even write, that called him a fake bishop. It turns out he's much more than a fake bishop. He's actually a pedophile who had sex with a 15-year-old girl. And he's also, a number of other things. Can't even keep track of all the things Tony Branch did. He had multiple restraining orders taken out against him. He got arrested for violating one because he had ammunition on him because they let another baby mama into his house that stayed there. Then he kicked her out and he called her like the devil or Satan or something. He was reprimanded by his own school committee because he's the chair of the Southeastern school committee. So he's running for re-election in November. And he needs to lose. He's going against two candidates who we will be speaking with shortly, one-on-one. I'm going to have them each on. And because I don't really care. I'm not going to endorse either one. I want to give people a chance to, make their decision about who they want to vote for. Do we have any turtle riders in the house tonight from any of the following towns? Brockton, Easton, Norton, Mansfield, Foxborough, Sharon, Stoughton, East Bridgewater, West Bridgewater. Do we have any turtle riders from any of those towns with us tonight? Because if you are, then this will be on the ballot in your town. Even though Tony Branch and the two women running against him are from Brockton, if you live in any of those towns, you get to decide who the school committee is for those. So we have Kelsey here is from Easton. That's great to see. So even though you don't live in Brockton, you will get to decide who the representative from Brockton is because it's your school committee. So in your tax dollars go to it, and you get to have a say. We see Matt is from Brockton. That's great to see. Okay, we got Teddy is from Northeastern. That's great to see. So again, you don't have to live in Brockton to vote on this. Anyone in any of those 9 towns can vote on this as well, because you're represented by whoever wins this election. So Tony Branch is running for re-election. This would be his 3rd term. I believe he's been the first time he made it on, there was a death in 2016, and then he got reelected. I don't know if you can get reelected if you're appointed the first time in 2019, but I don't even think he had an opponent. So, because let's be honest, who was paying attention to the Southeastern Regional School Committee at the time? Well, now he does have an opponent, not just because he is extremely shady, but also the fact that he's bringing this nonsense with him. And it's become a huge distraction from what he's supposed to be doing, and that is running the Southeastern Regional School District. It's clearly he doesn't care what is best for the kids, which is weird because that's really what you're supposed to care about if you want to run the schools, because children go to schools, and he doesn't seem to care much about that. So before I bring on our first guest who's running against him, can we play, Deb, the tape of Tony speaking at the Brockton Democratic City Committee breakfast on September 11th, because this is Tony Branch at his finest. Yeah, you can play that video right here.
Thank you. I think everybody knows me.
Oh yeah.
So you don't have to do much of an announcement. Clap your hands if you're a real Democrat.
A real Democrat.
I'm sorry. Clap your hands if you're a real Democrat. And so here's my bio. I'm a black boy that was homeless in Roxbury, Massachusetts. I ate McDonald's trash in order to survive through my middle school and high school years.
Not much has changed.
Public education was what kept me alive, and my faith in God is what kept me moving forward in life. My faith has kept me moving in the right way of liberty and justice. Can y'all let me talk?
I'm sorry.
One of the things that you all did today, you said liberty and justice. Well, the parents at Southeastern Regional want you to vote for me if you believe in liberty in terms of the reduction.
No, they don't. What?
Of the gap between black and whites at that school.
Huh?
For 4 years, and I'm speaking like this for a reason. 4 whole years.
What?
I was the only person of color on Southeastern. And it was hard. I needed that school committee room to be filled with the good character, grace, mercy, and love that is in this room today. It has been hard for Black students in that district. So this election is about having a strong voice. This election is about the experience that you know that's going to speak up for those children, whether they're Black or white. But let me be clear to you. The school year ended with racial epithets in the bathroom that traumatized Black children at that school.
Huh? That's how it ended?
And people didn't get it. The business of education, when it comes to people that look like me, is serious business. I'm frustrated that I hear people say, well, it's not a race issue. It absolutely is.
What?
We've seen,
What?
We've seen the achievement gaps.
Oh my God. Achievement gaps.
We know, we have the documentation. For those of you who have...
He's sweating bullets. Look at this guy.
It's called evidence-based. And the evidence says that we can do better when it comes to people, children that look like me. If you believe in justice, true justice, then not one empty chair should be at that regional school committee when we begin in September.
Oh, I'll be there.
I'm Tony Branch, the homeless kid.
What?
Went from homeless to preaching to the chair of a school committee, the first African-American chair of a school committee in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I believe in you because you believed in me. Thank you.
I mean, talk about mansplaining. Like, just to get up there. I mean, what you just saw right there is exactly why the people don't want Tony Branch. That is an unhinged man who just thinks that he can yell at you and be right. And especially the way that we've seen the way he treats women, particularly. We've read it in some of the police reports, and we've seen his just outright defiance. You know, you would think most people in this situation would feel a little bit awkward. And, you know, when a bunch of parents and teachers, when the union itself is like, you know what? Why don't you just take a break for a little bit? And you're like, no, I'll be damned if I do that. It's like, dude, you're just bringing all this attention upon yourself. You are Tony Branch's own worst enemy. And the children of this district deserve better. The parents of this district, by the way, he said the parents want me. Dude, the parents literally got up at the meeting and like, not only do we not want you, we don't even want you at the graduation because I don't want you near my kid, you creep. So yeah, that's Tony Branch. So he has two opponents. We're going to bring them both on for a few minutes, just talk about why they're running. And they're both, he's going to be on, it's going to be hard for him to play the race card in this situation because they're both Black women. And so we're going to bring them both on one at a time. Now, first up, we're going to have Jamie Hodges. She's obviously from Brockton. All the candidates are from Brockton here. And I believe this is her first time running for office. And so we're going to bring her on now. How you doing, Jamie?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So your speech was right before that. We didn't play that. He kind of yelled over you there. But sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So why do you want to be on the Southeastern Regional School Committee?
Well, I want to be on the Southeastern Regional School Committee because the students of Southeastern deserve someone that's going to represent every student, not just students of color, but someone that's going to be there for every student. There's more than just students of color that attend Southeastern. So I want to be their voice, be their advocate, be someone that's going to stand up for them. If there's an issue, you know, parents can come to me, students. I just want to be that voice, that positive, you know, that positive person on the school committee to represent every student that attends Southeastern. Even though I am going for the Brockton seat, I feel like I'm representing all the students that go there when I sit on the committee board.
Can I ask you something? Are you a graduate?
I actually graduated from Brockton High School.
Okay. So why do you want to serve on a vocational school committee?
Well, I think vocational schools are great. I didn't go to Southeast. I went to Brockton High, but being a part of a vocational school, students have the skills. They get to do, you know, different trades, you know, like they can go do the nursing trade, culinary arts trade. And I think that's just a phenomenal program for students to take part in. And after they finish that, they're able to go to college, get that associate's degree, or they can go right into the workforce. So I've always admired Southeastern. I didn't go to Southeastern, but I've always admired like having like knowing that they're a technical school, right? You know, that services Brockton kids as well. And
have you ever run for office before?
I have ran for office before, yes.
What did you run for? And how'd you
I
do?
ran for Ward 2 City Councilor in Brockton.
Okay, and that was unsuccessful, I'm guessing.
Yes, I lost by 100
I've-
votes, but
I've lost elections too. It's not a big deal.
I know. I was like, unfortunately I lost, but that didn't make me lose hope. Like I mentor kids in the community. I'm always the one that get involved, stay in the community. That's very important when you want to be that active person, want to be that community leader. You have to stay involved. You have to make sure your face is out there in the community. And that's something that I pride myself in doing, is always staying out there and getting involved.
What do you do for work?
I work for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. That's my full-time job, and I also sit on different boards in Brockton as well as sitting on different mentoring and volunteer work as well.
So are you familiar with Mr. Branch just from being involved in Brockton politics? Because he's on a lot of boards too.
Yes, I've heard of him running. Yes.
Okay. And what inspired you to run this time? Was it all the nonsense in the news, or were you planning on running anyway?
I wanted to run because I feel like students deserve someone, that's going to be there for them, someone that's, gonna represent them, not bring any drama. I'm not focused on branches. I'm focused on my own race, like I said, but they deserve someone better, someone that's going to be there for them, stand up for them, and advocate the changes that they want.
Okay, so right now you feel like that's not happening, that you feel like the kids are not having their best interest served with the current committee, at least with him chairing it.
It's a committee. It plays a role. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. It plays a role.
It's not a big deal. Yeah. It's pretty laid back here.
I know. Well, it's a committee. Well, I'll be one on the committee member. So I want to work part, it's going to be a part of learning as well, because I'll be a new committee member. So I'm going to be the person, learning from those committee members as well. But I want to, be the first slave. I'm a younger person. So being able to.
How old are you?
I am 20. I just turned 28.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you didn't graduate that long ago from high school? 2012?
No, I actually graduated. Yep, 2012, and in 2016 I got my bachelor's, and in 2020 I got my MBA.
Where'd you go to college? You have your MBA.
I got my undergraduate at Regis College, and I got my MBA from LaSalle University.
Good for you. Jeez, you should be making a killing if you have your MBA. You shouldn't don't stay in politics too long. Go get yourself a nice, $250,000 salary somewhere, because that's the whole point of an MBA. But I digress. Anyway, so have you been campaigning a lot? You had a lot. Like, what is even involved in a campaign with the regional school committee? Do you have to go to the 9 towns and knock on doors? What do you do?
Yes, so I have been on social media, broadcasting my platform and what I would like to do. I have some signs that I have available, for your on signs. I've been passing out, literature, going door to door. Social media is big because I have, different individuals emailing me for signs in a different times. So I'm like really excited for that, when being able to have those signs. I have literature. So that's basically how I get the word out there. Is I think and I just had a fundraiser tonight. That's why I'm dressed. I just came from.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay,
yes.
Cool. Oh, so this race costs money. This is a real race. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So do you have a team behind you? You got a campaign manager?
Yes, I do have a team that I put together. We go out campaigning. We're going to do a sign holding to get the word out there. I'm just really passionate. I feel like these students really deserve someone that's going to be there for them. So I'm putting my whole heart, soul into this campaign.
I don't live in Brockton. I'm not from there. Are people talking about this race? Are people interested in this? Have people been following the news, or is this kind of if you're in the Turtleboy world, you've been following this stuff?
Well, it's an important race because it is a state election. So I feel like the state elections I always think are positive because everybody's going to come out and vote. We vote for governor, all the different positions. So I'm really hopeful for this race. All I want is everybody to come out and vote, vote for the candidate that you believe in. And
Do you know, have you met Maggie before?
I've met Maggie.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know her from around town, or?
No, I just know her from social media.
Are you guys at all worried about splitting the vote and handing Tony Branch a victory?
That's a tough question. That's kind of tough because it's a possibility, like you said, it's splitting the vote. But I'm just keeping my head strong, head held high. That on November 8th, 3 weeks from today, that people will see faith in me and see that I'm passionate about the students and know that I will work hard no matter what. And
I think so too. Like, does Tony Branch still have like sway in Brockton? Like, because he's run for office before a couple times besides this,
yes,
and he's lost miserably, like dead last in 3-person races. Does he have any political power in Boston? Do people take him in Brockton, do people take him seriously?
Well, I haven't really seen him like campaign really for this race, so I don't think so. I haven't.
So he doesn't have much of a presence. There's no branch signs when you're driving around Brockton.
I'm the only sign that's up in Brockton. Right
okay,
now,
okay.
In Brockton surrounding towns, yes.
Okay, all right, cool. Where can people follow you if they want to go and check out some of your opinions and takes on the issues?
Definitely. Well, I have my email, which is Hodges, 4se@gmail.com.
Does you have a Facebook page, like a school committee Facebook page or anything?
Yep, it's Jamie Hodges for Southeastern Regional School Committee. It's on Facebook.
Okay, so Jamie, right? Not
Jamie Hodges, Hodges, for Southeastern Regional School Committee. That's
okay. Yeah, so search for that on Facebook, guys. Give her a follow, and we wish you luck in your campaign. 3 weeks.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be watching. Thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
So she seemed nice.
Yeah, she knew what she was talking about. She did well, even though she was nervous. Like she,
I
mean, there for all the kids.
It's just, I mean, yeah, it's like sometimes I'm flattered by that. I'm like nervous. Little old turtle boy. People get nervous to be on here. I don't bite. I swear to God. So, yeah. All right, cool. So we're gonna bring on next. We're bringing on Maggie. I think it's pronounced Pinney. I don't know why I put Dawn in it before. It said like in the Brockton Enterprise article. I swear to God, it said Dawn, and that's not even close to Maggie. So maybe Maggie. I don't know. We'll bring her on right now and ask about that. So. Hello, Maggie. How are you?
Hello.
So it's Magalie. Is that right?
That's my full name. Yes.
Okay. Where did I get Dawn from?
I don't know where you got Dawn from.
It
wasn't in the Brockton Enterprise article either.
Jeez, it's embarrassing. Okay.
Maybe you were washing dishes. I don't know. Maybe you were using Dawn. Might have been using Dawn.
I like it. So welcome. Thank you for coming on here. So I found your campaign interesting because you're a mother of a Southeastern student. Is that correct?
Correct.
What grade is it? A girl? It's your daughter?
It's son? My son, my youngest child of 3, and he's a sophomore.
And he's a sophomore. Did the other two go to Southeastern?
No, they remained in the Brockton Public Schools District.
Okay.
He left the Brockton Public Schools District as a freshman to attend Southeastern Regional.
So he's more inclined for technical things, I'm assuming, more hands-on stuff. That's why you go to a technical school, right?
I had actually been interested in lots of different kinds of schools for my kids ever since before they could even go to school. I've always been a proactive, invested parent and educational stakeholder. So vocational technical schools interested me early from when I was actually in middle school, because I had a close friend of mine who didn't wind up getting accepted into Cardinal Spellman, which is where I wound up going, and wound up going to
Catholic. That's the Catholic school in Brockton, correct?
That's a parochial Catholic high school. And she actually wound up going to Southeastern Vocational Technical School. And she was one of my good friends. And she went into automotive. So I was very excited. So I've always been aware of the school for decades, from my own youth, from my own childhood. And I was interested in the institution for all 3 of my kids, but my girls are more creative, and Brockton Public Schools has a great fine arts.
What does your son think of it? What does your son think of his mother running for school committee? My mother was on the Worcester School Committee when I was a kid, and it had its pros and cons, mostly cons, because it was like I had to do standouts with her, and it was embarrassing sometimes. She was my graduation speaker. Like, what is your son? Is he cool with this?
He's cool with it. Yeah, he's not been very vocal. He'll ask random questions here and there, like what will happen if, when, how, those kinds of things. But he's not really sweating it. He's more focused on his, pathways there
Okay.
than his mother running for a campaign. So
What made you decide to run for school committee?
it's something I'd been interested in for this particular school district for several years, actually, even before my son wound up getting accepted and attending. It's just a model that I really enjoy, I appreciate, and it was something that I felt like, having the ability to make my voice, add my voice, my unique voice and
You have a
perspectives.
very soothing voice. I'll give you that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. I was a communication major, so I
Oh, that makes
resonate with
sense.
what you do. Makes, like I completely understand why you do what you do and
Oh,
appreciate
thank
that
you.
you are a voice for the public as long as you've been sometimes a controversial voice.
I am. So you're familiar with the blog prior to the Tony Branch stuff? You've heard of it before?
No,
Oh,
actually,
really?
I've
Okay.
heard off and on random things on social media, but I never followed you until I started reading some of the details surrounding the controversy. And actually maybe a handful of other things in other areas besides Brockton, like some things that had happened in Bridgewater and the other areas, in the South Shore, as well
Mhm.
as in different parts of Massachusetts. But
Yeah, I don't
prior
bite.
to that,
Yeah. I mean, it
you
is somewhat, I mean, the topics I handle are definitely controversial, and sometimes my takes on them might seem, but I feel like it's some of the stuff we can all agree on. Like, for instance, I like my issue with Tony Branch isn't just his past, it's the fact that it's a distraction from what he should be doing. It's creating a distraction, which is hurting everyone. And that's something that you mentioned in the Brockton Enterprise article, no?
correct. I
And
felt like it's been a distraction of grand proportions, but
and he
people are
criticized
interviewed.
he criticized you for mentioning that in the same article.
I
He said
know,
something
I
like,
noted that, and I
yeah.
did appreciate your perspective and clarification in setting that record straight. No, I am not legitimizing gossip. No, I am not a gossip. I am someone who didn't even accuse him of anything. I said only God knows whether or not
Mhm.
he's done what he's been, alleged to have done or accused to have done, or what, has been indicated in the courts. I didn't say one way or the other. So for him to have said that was kind of off-putting, but I can understand why he might say something like that
Well,
about me.
let me just say that just from speaking with both of you, I just and attending, I've attended way too many Southeastern school committee meetings that I would have liked to have. And from sitting in there, it's like they could use a mature voice like yours, because quite frankly, the meetings are out of control when Tony runs them. He's loud, he's boisterous. You heard him speak at the Brockton Democratic City Committee. That's his tone. It makes people feel uncomfortable. It makes them feel afraid to speak out. And especially towards women, I feel like it's very intimidating
Yeah.
for just a
I'm
man
not
to get up there and yell
intimidated.
like that. Well, that's good.
Oh, I'm
Glad
not
to hear.
intimidated.
But some people
No,
are.
well, yes, I mean,
Yeah.
people are different. So,
Yeah.
they're wired different and they have different things that they can tolerate and whatnot. But back in June of this year, I'd actually attended a school committee meeting at Southeastern Regional, and I've been an active participant in attending school committee meetings, even within the Brockton Public Schools, as I've been a
Mhm.
parent of 3 kids for many, many years now. So I've always been invested. I've always been interested, and I've never been intimidated to speak. And
Are,
so June was one of those times that I did. And, he seemed reasonable, as did the rest of the members of the committee. I didn't go there to speak to him. I went there to present my thoughts,
oh,
my
did you
feedback,
speak at
my
the school committee
perspective.
meeting? Was that the
I
one
did.
I was at?
I signed to speak. Yes, sure, you can find that.
No,
That should be
is that the meeting I was at? Because I went to several
no,
meetings.
you were not at this meeting. This was in
Okay.
June.
You would
This
remember
was
me.
later.
Okay.
This was after
Okay.
that round of
Okay. This is
meetings.
after the graduation. Okay. All right.
Correct. Correct.
All right. And
Mhm.
so how's the campaign going?
The campaign is going well. It's my first go round, and
Mhm.
I'm not by nature inherently a politician. I'm just a regular person
Mhm.
who is, you know, qualified and wanting to do what I can in this other dimension, this other space,
Mhm.
as I've been an educational advocate and stakeholder for many years now. So for different aspects, different perspectives, and
Yeah.
it's not something that I take lightly. Again, this is a very sacrificial journey in so many ways.
Mhm.
As far as the investment of my time and resources, and but it's worth it. It's something, like I had said, I had been interested in prior to, but I thought that, I could focus on other things because the school committee had who they needed.
Mhm. Yeah.
And,
But
but
now
then
you've
I
been
realized
motivated.
that maybe that wasn't the case
Right. Right.
anymore. So,
How can people follow?
now
Do you
is
have
the time.
do you have a Facebook page or anything like that for your campaign?
Yes, yes, I
So
do. Thank you for asking. It's Magalie A. Pinney for Southeastern Regional School Committee,
okay.
and it's on Facebook.
So yeah, so check it
And
out. Magalie Pinney, Pinny. If you guys type that in the search bar, I'm sure it'll pop right up. Give her a follow. And so again, thank you for coming on.
Thank
Appreciate your
you.
time and best of
Thank
luck
you.
in 3 weeks in the campaign. We'll be watching.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and keep rocking.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye. I like them both, Deb.
Me too.
I wish
That's
I
gonna
could
be
vote for both
tricky.
of them. Yeah. So either way, I think your bottom line is no matter what happens on was it November 8th, the election, that school district is in much better hands with either of those. They're different. One is more motherly, I think. That would be
Oh, yeah.
Maggie. They're probably 20 years apart in age, or at least 15 years apart in age.
At
So
least. Yeah.
they're coming from a completely different world. One is a younger woman just kind of starting her political career. The other is a mother who's, almost done with the educational part of her career running. And so either way, the bottom line is just nice talking to him because you're like, oh, wow, an adult, a grown up.
Right?
Somebody who's not going to be like, so up here, I'm a little black boy and I was eating out of the dumpster in Roxbury and I'm the only black person on the school committee for 1,000 years and vote for me. Yeah, it's like that. That's ridiculous. They just don't. That guy should not be. And it's not just me. It's not just that I'm mad he's suing me. It's that I'm offended that somebody with that kind of record on them would be in charge of a freaking school district. And it's just he's a grifter. He's just a grifter. I can't stand people like that. It is what it is. So that was cool. So I'm glad we had them on. Regular people need to do what Miss Pinney is doing. This is how we get schools to teach kids. Yeah, exactly. So, get involved. I mean, both of them were motivated by this. I think I would, even though, Jamie didn't come out and say that, there's a reason they didn't run in 2019 when Tony Branch was first running. And I would like to think that this has certainly sparked their interest to get involved in politics, and we'll see what happens there. So again, if anybody lives in those 9 towns, make sure you vote for either of those candidates on November 8th, whatever that election day is. You're going to be there anyway, going to the polls. We're going to have a full night election show on election night on that Tuesday, 3 weeks from today. It's going to be just like the presidential one. It's probably going to go to like 2 a.m. I'm going to start at 7:30. Deb, you don't have to be here for the whole thing. You're not like a political junkie. I'm going to have other people on too, guests and stuff like that, some political guests, because we are going to be following these midterm elections, guys, extremely closely. I check the polls out every day. I'm a political junkie. I love this shit. Just feed it into my veins. And especially this election, just with the, Biden running the show, and it's going to be good blowback. I think the polls have been up and down, but right now it's looking like red wave. They're definitely going to take the House. Republicans are definitely going to take the House back. It's almost set in stone. The question is, will they take the Senate back yet? And there's really 4 elections that we're going to be watching out for there: Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. We're also going to be looking at a number of gubernatorial races in places like Michigan, in places like Arizona, where the fabulous Carrie Lake is running. in places like Georgia, where they're rather bland. Brian Kemp is running, but he's trying to keep out the disgusting fupa slot there, Stacey Abrams. Then there's a number of other, like Pennsylvania, obviously. It's weird in some of these states, guys, if you guys are following this stuff, like, Oregon, that's a good call. That, like, Oregon, a very left-wing state. A Republican is going to win governor there, and it's going to be, so she's a woman, redhead too. She's going to win there. And it's really interesting to see some of these candidates. The left is putting up some really bad candidates, like Carrie Lake. They'll call she's an election denier. They won't have her on The View or anything like that. She's bad. She's an election denier. She does not give a shit, man. She is so freaking good. She's the closest thing we've seen to Ron DeSantis. Her and DeSantis would make a money ticket, by the way, in 2024. But it's interesting because in the same polls in Arizona, Carrie Lake is winning over her just plain Jane opponent there, Katie Hobbs. And she is winning, I would say, by about 3 or 4 points, looking like in most polls. And in those same polls, the same people, when you ask them who you're going to vote for Senate, the astronaut there is beating my guy, Blake Masters, by like 2 or 3 points, 2 to 4 points every time. So there's like some people in there that are, and we're seeing this everywhere. In Ohio, the Republican governor there is winning Mike DeWine by like 20 points. In those same polls, J.D. Vance is running for Senate. He's winning by like 2. Can you do a show and tell us who to vote for? Absolutely. Absolutely. What state do you live in, Brescia? I need to know what state, in town too. So that's Michigan. It should be an interesting one. They don't have a Senate election this time around, but Governor Karen there is running against this woman by the name of Tudor Dixon, who's very interesting. In Georgia, it's also very interesting because Brian Kemp, who, if you ever heard Brian Kemp talk, it's like listening to Molasses Move. Like, the man is so Southern, it hurts, and talks Southern and just boring. Like, he'll put you to sleep. I don't understand how this man became a politician. But so Quincy, okay, good to know. So we'll talk more about that. So, but Kemp is beating Stacey Abrams in the polls by like 10 points. Like, it's almost a guarantee he will win again in that election in 2022. It's a rematch. But in the same polls for Senate, Raphael Warnock is winning over Herschel Walker by 2 to 3. So, like, there's a subset of Republicans who are voting for Carrie Lake, but not Blake Masters. They're voting for Mike DeWine, but not J.D. Vance. They're voting for, what's his name in Georgia? Brian Kemp, but they're not voting for Herschel Walker. And in Pennsylvania, they're voting for Dr. Oz, who is, by the way, neck and neck, no pun intended, because John Fetterman has like 5 necks. He is neck and neck now with Fetterman. He was losing by like 10 points. But the more they let Fetterman talk, the more they realize, like, oh, crap, this guy's literally retarded. He's literally brain dead. And at least Oz, he might be a rich asshole and probably a completely fake hypocrite, whatever, but at least he's not brain dead. And so he was getting killed in the polls. That thing's even now. That thing's a race. But in the gubernatorial race, in the same time, you got Doug Mastriano. He's going to lose by like 10 to Josh Shapiro. He's on Tucker now. He's going to lose. There's some other interesting. We're going to talk about congressional races in New England. New England has 21 representatives, and I asked Turtle Club this the other day. How many of the 21 representatives in New England are Republican in all 6 states? New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut. How many representatives right now are Republicans of the 21? Blumenthal's not going to lose, but if he doesn't win by at least 10, that's a huge loss. Huge loss. Grimace. She does look like Grimace. How many do you guys think? I know Deb knows the answer to this, right?
I don't remember you asking that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the answer to that is people are saying 3, 2. Guys, the answer is 0. There are 0 Republicans in all 6 states combined. 9 in Massachusetts, all Democrat, 5 in Connecticut, 2 in Rhode Island, 2 in Maine, 2 in New Hampshire, 1 in Vermont, all Democrat. but that could change this time around. There are 3 races in particular in New England that I'm looking at. One of them is in the New Hampshire, I believe, 1st Congressional District. I always get 1st and 2nd there confused. It's with the incumbent Chris Pappas against my girl, the very sexy Caroline Levitt, who is just awesome. And then we have in Rhode Island, in the, I believe, the 2nd Congressional District, what everyone has, Coventry and Warwick, we have the mayor of Cranston, former mayor of Cranston, Alan Fung, who is winning by like 6 points in the polls in that district. That's because the congressman there, Langevin, wheelchair guy, he's retiring. So that's an open seat. And then in Connecticut, in the Connecticut 5th district, which represents the northwestern part of Connecticut, including Danbury and Waterbury, there is a fringe squad member by the name, she was elected the same year the squad came in. Her name is Johanna Hayes, and she's running up. Her opponent is was on Tucker last night. He's a Republican state senator in Connecticut who's apparently very popular. He's a black guy, and he's very sharp. He was on there last night, and he's interesting too. So those are 3 races that I'm watching in here. I'm watching 0 in Massachusetts, just to be clear about this. I don't even, like, who's the guy that kept telling me Bob May? Somebody's like, are you following Bob May for Congress? And people are like, you got to follow him. He's great. Can I show you Bob May's Twitter? Because I saw this guy. This is why some of you people just need to listen to me. Okay, so check this guy out. I've never seen a blue check mark with this small amount of followers. There should be a minimum followers to get a blue check mark. This guy has 40 followers, okay, and a blue check mark. 40. And look at this picture. I mean, I don't want to shit on this guy, but like, dude, this guy ain't gonna win. I mean, here, come on. Bob May with the 40 followers. This is the one you guys were building up for me. There's a few of you were in here. You knew who you were. I think Don Bolduc, I don't think he's going to. I mean, it's nice, but he's going to lose by like 5 or 6. He's going to lose that one. Like Bob, this guy named Bob, is this Bob May? Is that his name? May for Congress. 40 freaking followers, okay? And that guy ain't going to win. Like, he's running against Seth Moulton, I believe, right? The 6th Congressional District. Yeah, you're going to lose that by 30, dude. They're all going to lose. Like, and I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. Like, Joffrey Sosa Paquette's running against Jim McGovern. He's going to lose by 30. They're all going to lose. Like, there ain't going to be any red wave in Massachusetts. There might be a red wave nationwide. It ain't going to happen here, folks. Okay. There are a few interesting state rep races that I would encourage people to join. Like, if you live in Easton or Taunton, please vote for my guy, Chris Coit. He's great. If you live in Bill Ricca, please vote for my guy, Mark Lombardo. And I mean, I hate to say it because I hate this guy, but you got to vote for him. If you live in Becca Rausch's Senate district, which is the same area Southeastern's in down there, you got to vote for Sean Dooley because the alternative is a communist who wanted to mask all your children. So you literally have no choice with that. So we're going to be talking more about the elections as they come up. But right now, what we're going to talk about is another interesting thing here that's been happening to me. Can you bring up the first blog on Asima Silva, Deb?
Sure can.
Okay, and I love Rayla. Okay, I love Rayla, and I don't mean like, I'm going to vote for Rayla for Secretary of State. I'm going to vote for, I guess I'll vote for Jeff Deal for governor, but they're gonna lose. Like, and I don't want to, like, it's like I love him. You ain't gonna win. Sorry. I mean, if I, the thing about me, Deb, it's like if I was not Turtle Boy, if I was like Mr. Ass Kisser, I would get up here right now and I would tell you guys that Rayla Campbell is gonna win. Okay, and I would be like, Jeff Deal is gonna win. I would get up here and I'd tell you that because yeah, they're my guys. I'm gonna, and like, but I keep it real. That's my whole thing here.
Right.
And I know we live in a communist hellhole. Okay. That's how it works. What about the libertarian? What about them? I don't ever want to hear about a libertarian again. The libertarians aren't real candidates. Libertarians don't get elected to anything. There are no libertarian congressmen. There's no libertarian senators, nothing. Yeah, we can do a list of TV endorsements. Absolutely. I mean, there's so many. But yeah, it's like, I love her. But come on, it's Massachusetts, man. Bill Galvin has been there since the beginning of time. He beats Democratic primaries contenders like it's going out of style. Like, come on, he's not going to lose. Maura Healey is not just going to win. Maura Healey is going to cream pie all over Jeff Deal. Like she is going to just, it's going to be leaking out of his asshole victory. Maura Healey's victory is just going to be soothing out of there. And I hate Maura Healey. She's horrible. But Jeff Deal, when I look at that guy is the most plastic looking motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. Like, is he even real? He doesn't look real. He looks like a freaking professional losing politician. He got his ass handed to him by Pocahontas. He's soft. He's like literally the worst Republican candidate I've ever seen. Like ever. So he is going to get murdered and they deserve it. And so if anybody out there is like, oh yeah, I think it's going to happen, Turtleboy Jeff Deal. Oh yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck. I'm going to vote for him. He's got my vote. He's up 1-0. As far as I'm concerned, he's going to lose. Okay. Anyway, so let's talk about this whole story. He is a professional losing candidate. He's literally making a career out of that. So, let's scroll down a little. Oh, and by the way, before we get started on this, now I'll do the announcement, right? If you guys like the program and you want to support what we do, unfortunately, you can't do the super chat because we are banned from doing that, from monetizing the channel. So luckily, we built our own platform called Turtle Chat. So what you guys can do if you'd like to support what we do here at Turtle Boy, taking down people like Tony Branch, exposing people like Asima Silva, is you can click on that link that is pinned to the top of the comments section, and you can donate whatever amount of money you want. And when you do that, I'll show you what happens. You will get a prompt to write a message, and it will come up on my end, and I will show it to the world, like this one from MC Extra Crispy, who sends $50 last week and said, "Touchy Boy Sports, you're my favorite genre on Pornhub." You'd have to be there, folks, to understand. Touchy. You can call me Uncle Touchy if you'd want. That could be my new nickname. I'm Uncle Touchy. So that's how you do that, guys. If you'd like to join, again, you're supporting independent journalism. That was one of the things I talked today with locals about, guys, and they understood. That's how I knew we were on the same wavelength. I'm like, my goal is to have Turtle Boy completely, like, I want you to be the customer. I want to serve you. When I have advertisers, they will always have some amount of control over me if they're paying the bills. Whereas if, and thus you would have to somewhat cater to them. If they, ask you, can you tone it down a bit, or else you're going to lose my business. I don't ever want to be cuckolded like that by a company. So I want the content to be geared towards the fans, which is you people. And so if you're the customer, then problem solved. So that's why we have that donation button to do it that way. You're supporting independent journalism and keeping it independent when you do that. Okay, so that's my pitch on Turtle Chat. It's linked at the top. If you'd like to donate, you can write a funny message with it. Anything you want will come up on the big screen, so just be warned about that. Okay, so that was his nickname in college. Stop it. Okay, so let's get back to this one. All right, so I ran for school committee, as you guys know, in 2021, in April or May of 2021, and I got my ass kicked. And so that's okay, because it was my first time running and I didn't really know what I assumed I would win, because obviously why would I lose to a bunch of communists? But it was really my first time running. I didn't really campaign that much except on social media. I didn't knock on any doors. I didn't like make any phone calls or have any money. I didn't spend a goddamn dime. I didn't raise anything. If I could do it again, I would run like a real campaign, but unfortunately we can't do that. So I ran because I was motivated. And if you look, you got the results there, Deb. I think they come up on it. Go down more. There it is. Okay. So this is how I finished. Nope. You just went right by it. Literally right by. There we go. Okay. So that's how we did. I'm the fifth one there at the bottom. I got 717 votes. And you'll notice that the other guy there, Barry, had 749 and George had 705. All three of us are registered Republicans, and we got our asses kicked. Now the women, Lauren Salmon Garrett, Linda Long Belil, and Asima Silva are all Democrats, and they were promoted as a ticket by the Holden Town Committee. And they basically said, like, they did a robocall. Trump is coming. If you don't vote for these three people, Trump is going to be running your school committee. That's the overall message that these people always send. Trump is coming. Trump is coming. And as you can see, they showed up accordingly, even though I would like to point out here that at least 100 people who voted for Lauren Sam Garrett or Linda Longbelio, because you can vote for three, decided that Asima Silva was a bridge too far for them. They're like, you know what? Okay, I vote what the machine tells me to do. I vote Democrat. I do my job. I'm a good Democrat, but not this woman. This woman's a little bit too much, because she's ridiculous. And so she was one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to run. Can we play the tape of her saying that 10,000 kids died from COVID because this is just too rich?
Question. In one of the graphs that you had when you said 10,000 deaths of students between ages of 0 to 20, what was the pool of that? Was that Worcester County? Was that Massachusetts? Where did that number come from?
That's Massachusetts. That's a state.
And you know, as we read all the comments before this meeting started, you know, I do agree with the social and emotional part of the kids returning back to school, but this is where my hesitation comes from seeing those numbers. I really ask myself, what is a social and emotional aspect of a child who might be one of those numbers, God forbid, or their teacher becomes one of those numbers, God forbid. So as much as we talk about social and emotional aspect of our kids and needing to go back to school to interact with their teachers and their classmates, I go back to a graph like that, and as everyone knows, I've had a really hard family case with COVID that ended up in the most horrible manner. And I ask myself, can a student and a teacher ask themselves, they can watch a loved one literally suffocating to death? And that really concerns me. That graph, as much as we say it's only 10,000, that's 10,000 too many.
I mean, I felt when I listened to that live, this is back when all the meetings were online, I remember feeling so powerless. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I'd never paid attention to school committee stuff in town before. And I remember just thinking, like, oh my God, this freaking moron controls when my kid gets to go to school. Like, my kid's going into kindergarten and this idiot gets to decide. This idiot just literally said that 10,000 children in the last 2 weeks in Massachusetts have died from COVID. And we should ignore the social and emotional impacts that lockdowns are having on children because 10,000 kids have died from COVID. This woman hurt my daughter. My daughter sat in her room. A lot of people have forgotten about that. I haven't because we're back. Pandemic's over. We're back to regular. Everything's open again. It's been there for a while. It's like we forgot what these people did to us. I did not forget. Sitting there and watching my daughter doing jumping jacks in her bedroom, calling a gym class, crying because she couldn't make any friends, like because she was isolated and alone. And I'll never, ever forgive these monsters for that. They're not good people. They hide behind, they're liars. What you just heard from that woman was a lie. She made up a freaking lie in order to harm my child and harm all the other children of the district. And I'm not putting up with it anymore. And I'm like, I have to run against this woman. This is insane, because she was up for re-election that year. And I'm like, nobody could possibly vote for anyone this stupid. I was wrong. I was very wrong about that. Let's play the next tape where she said that she was, she claims that this is the first time they wanted to close down the schools to like January 19th. And this is her reason why she wants to close the schools. Play it.
Yes, I'd love to, Megan. I actually have to hop off in a few minutes, and I apologize going out of order. As I had emailed the school committee members, and I'd like the community to know that I just lost my uncle this morning to COVID. I just returned back from the cemetery, and my question is to the Board of Health, because I'm concerned about the metrics the Board of Health is laying out.
She's better.
So my question is, in my experience, with my uncle's experience, I have seen healthcare workers overworked. I have seen hospitals being overwhelmed. So when these metrics are being laid out and recommended for schools to open, are they considering what impact it will have on these hospitals. Because I'm going to quote what one of my family members' doctors said.
Okay.
Is
What'd they
once
say?
you are once you are admitted as a COVID patient, you become a number at this point. You are
Oh,
no longer a family member and a loved one.
that's what the
Because that
doctor
is the
said.
only way they can take care of these patients.
Oh,
And it
yeah.
concerns me with these metrics. How are these metrics being, outlined? Because are we really outlining these metrics as how many numbers can we just barely support? Or are we outlining these numbers to make sure that each individual who gets COVID can still be treated like a family member and a human being?
I don't know how many lies that we could hear in the same thing. First of all, let's talk about unprofessional and inappropriate to bring that up. Like you're having a serious debate about bringing schools up. And then you talk about your dead uncle and start fake crying. Let's call it what it is. It's fake crying. You don't just cry like that. I know what a real cry sounds like. That's a Kate Peter cry. That's a fake cry. That's not real. And she just stopped on a dime. And then all of a sudden was better. And starts talking about her uncle, who, as 20 points out here, and yes, she did say that her uncle died that day. And she was calling into the school committee meeting from the cemetery. Not the funeral home, the cemetery. He died that day, and they buried him that day from COVID. We're supposed to take this as real. Like we're just like, oh yeah, your uncle died. I mean, what are you supposed to say to that? Like, if I'm like, you know what? Let's take a vote in the comments. Do you guys think she really had an uncle who died that very day from COVID? Vote 1 if yes, vote 2 if no. I'm just curious what you guys think. Do you think that was a real story? Do you think she had an uncle who died from COVID that day, the exact same day the school committee was voting on whether or not to reopen schools? Do you think that happened? Vote 1 if yes, 2 if no. Wow, nobody seems to believe it. That's interesting. Interesting. Okay. So that's your opinion. Now, that's one of those things that it's like, how do I disprove that? Like she puts you in this position where you're like, well, what am I going to say to that? Well, I guess I have to close the schools, right? Because her uncle died. She's sad. She's crying. She's at the cemetery. That's all Democrats know how to do, guys. That's all the communists know how to do is manipulate your feelings, right? Try to give themselves more power by playing on your feelings. That's all they do. For instance, climate change. Climate change, guys, is coming. It's an existential threat. It's going to kill us all. So what's the solution to climate change? We just got to give the government more power. You got to give more power to the communists. They have to be able to decide what kind of straws you drink out of, what kind of bags you use at the store, right? What kind of cars you're allowed to drive. Just give them more power, and the existential threat of climate change will just no longer exist. They have the power to literally change the weather. That's how powerful communists are. Or how about gun control or anything else? They just love to manipulate your feelings in order to empower themselves. That is all that they care about. And when you heard it right there, that woman, I would say she's a moron, but she's actually a WPI graduate. I believe she has her, I don't think a doctorate from there, but definitely a master's. And WPI is a very hard school to get into. You have to be very smart to go to WPI. It's an engineering school. It's not Harvard, right? It's not like one of those fake schools that you graduate from with a gender studies degree. No, you go there to be an engineer. Like smart people come out of WPI still to this day. And so she's like a software engineer. She obviously makes money. So she knows what she's doing. She's not stupid. So that further makes me believe that this is all by design. Like that thing that you heard right there, that my uncle died, that was by design. The whole thing about 10,000 kids die from COVID, she knows that's a lie. She knows it's a lie. She literally just wants to keep schools closed. Now, why would she want that? Well, because it's all about power with these people. They're more like, if she has the ability to open and close and decide when schools open, then she's powerful. People need her for something, if that's the case. And I did notice some things when I was campaigning that you can be very well educated, not have an ounce of common sense, but this is not common sense to think that 10,000 kids have died. She knows that's not true. She knows that's not true. There's no way she can't know that's true. Maybe not. Actually, if you watch MSNBC, I guess you might not actually know that. But anyway, during the campaign, she was nowhere to be seen. The other two women, Lauren Sam and Gare, like I saw them around town. They had signs. They were active. Okay. And there was a standout. That's the woman sitting right down there, Linda. I mean, I don't mind her, but she actually voted to reopen schools. I don't mind her as much. She's sitting. She's not being lazy. She actually has a physical problem, but she was out there campaigning. There's a woman next to her holding an Asima Silva sign there. Asima Silva wasn't there. She was never anywhere during this campaign. She never appeared, and I'm like, oh, I'm not losing. I can't lose to this moron, obviously. But as we saw, she beat me. And I guess it's fair and square. You know, there was no rigging of the election. But you see that Walter Crockett post? Yeah, look at this idiot writes about. This guy is such a boomer. Oh, he's so crazy. Vanquish the Trump QAnon sickness. Yeah, we're all QAnon at every level, right down to the dog catcher. Election is Monday in Holden, which went blue, but has not been spared the Trumpian rabies. Like, this is how these people talk and think. Turn out to drive Aidan, spelled it wrong, Turtleboy Kearney back into his snake pit. Vote for the women for school committee and write in Tom Curran for selectman. Don't forget to circle. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Anyway, the machine basically did her work for her and she won. Well, I do a little research background on this woman, Asima Silva here. And I notice that she owns a home. I got a tip about this in Hopkinton. And so I go over the registry of deeds for Middlesex County, where Hopkinton is located in. And I see, oh, wow, she has a deed from, I believe, 2018 and a mortgage from 2018 for 38 Stony Brook Road in Hopkinton. They paid for the land, it cost like $350,000, and I think for the house it was like 1.2. Like the whole thing is like a $1.6 million house, which is cheap because it's freaking almost 9,000 square feet, and they're building a goddamn pool in it. In Hopkinton too. That's like coveted land. Like that's not bad. Like that's a freaking dude. 10,000 square foot home. That's gigantic.
Dude, 7.5 bathrooms.
7
bedrooms. That's
how many dumps can you take?
For real,
Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness gracious. So yeah, this whole thing, I mean, it's obviously doing well for herself. Good for her. But I did notice that the mortgage, if we go down there, it has all of these mortgage contracts have a clause in them and rules. And this has an occupancy clause. If you go down, I circled it. There we go. Okay. So occupancy, and it says the borrower shall occupy, establish, and use the property as borrower's principal residence within 60 days after the execution of the security instrument, and shall continue to occupy the property as their principal residence for at least 1 year after the date of occupancy, unless the lender otherwise agrees in writing, which consent, blah, 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 blah. So she has to live there. So if she owns it and doesn't live there, she's violating it. She signed it herself, and her husband, David, signed it as well. And so I did notice that if we go down more, there is a tweet from an account called Mr. Scottbot. This guy is apparently a teacher at Hopkins High School, and that is her son. I scratched his name out in this blog. I didn't do it in the second one. I'll explain why shortly. But because it's on Twitter, anyone can go see it. It says, I really enjoyed watching him take pride in his work as he finalized his inventive light device. And that's her son. So her son goes to Hopkinton. So this further makes me believe, and their son, by the way, is also on the National Art Honor Society, which in this article that I linked here is from October of 2021. So if he's on the Honor Society in October, if he's being inducted into the Honor Society in October of 2021, that means that he enrolled in the school at least the year before. You can't just go to a new school in September of 2021 and be on the honor roll in October of 2021 because you haven't even gotten a report card yet in October of 2021. How can you be in the honor society if you've been there for 5 weeks? You can't. So clearly he had been in school at least the year previous to that at Hopkins High School. So if we scroll down more, the home they own in Holden was purchased in 2000 and I think like 1. And this is where she's registered to vote from in Holden and as elected official. And she it's now in a family trust. Usually people do that when they're planning on handing down the home to a child after they leave, which would make sense. You know, you're not going to pay 2 mortgages here, right? I mean, why would you have 2? What are you going to summer in Holden? we summer. We're going to live in Hopkins. We're going to summer in Holden. Like, come on, nobody does. I mean, it's a nice town, but nobody summers here. And so obviously she's not going to have 2 homes. It's absurd. The Holden home also has an occupancy requirement. So where is she living? She must be committing occupancy fraud somewhere. Occupancy fraud, if you look it up, the term occupancy fraud refers to a form of mortgage fraud that occurs when the borrower lies about the occupancy status of the property, stating it will be owner occupied. Relatively common, borrowers commit occupancy fraud to get better interest rates on their mortgages. So you can get a better interest rate if you're actually living in the house. So she's committing some sort of fraud. So, Deb, you're way off. We're like way past that. Way past that. Okay. All right. So I went to her house the other day, and that's her home right there. And this is so I go there, and I'm like, I'm expecting, you can keep it right on that. I'm expecting to go there and knock on the door and have her not be there. That's what I honestly expected, because why would she own a home in Hopkinton and not be here? Because it all made sense. She hasn't been going to any campaign events. By the way, since she's been reelected, she has not attended a single meeting, not one. Not one. And that's what really offends me about this is, like, I actually wanted to be on the school committee for the right reasons. If you're not even attending meetings, why are you there? You clearly don't want to be there. So why are you there? We'll get to that in a minute. So I go to her home and I'm like, she ain't got to be there. Go up and ring the doorbell. You'll notice there is a car in the driveway, though. The yard looks like shit. No one's taking care of it. The home kind of looks like shit once you get closer. It just seems like it's not being taken care of that well. And it's a nice looking home. So I go up there and I ring the doorbell and I'm like, lo and behold, she answers the door. And let me tell you, that's awkward. Like I'm very rarely do I feel awkward. I felt extremely awkward. I'm like, oh, I didn't really have a plan. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, so I'm Aidan. I ran against you for school committee. She's like, oh, hi. I don't even know if she knows that. I'm like, I ran against you for school committee. You beat me. And I just had a question for you. Do you own a home in Hopkinton? Because I'm not sure. Do you live here or do you live in Hopkinton? And she's like, well, we do own a home in Hopkinton. You can keep it right on it, Deb. I go, you can, I said, she goes, I live here, but my husband lives in Hopkinton. So I'm like, I didn't say anything, but I wanted to be like, where do the kids live? Because they're on the Hopkinton Public Schools website. I hadn't written the article at this point. And I'm like, where? I'm like, so you want me to believe that your husband lives, you're separated from him, but not, you're married, but he lives in Hopkinton and you live in this house in Holden. Why? Where do the kids live? The kids obviously live in Hopkinton because they go to the schools there. So you just live here by yourself away from your kids. Why? Nothing about this story made sense, but I was shocked. I'm like, I did not expect her to answer that door. And I left there. She apparently started crying about it, went to the town clerk, because I called the town clerk yesterday, and she had already beat me to it with my concerns about this. And let's scroll. Now we can scroll down a little bit more. And we can see that I did notice that she works first of all, she works for goddamn Raytheon. What kind of liberal works for Raytheon? That's another like, this is the thing. The parties have changed. You can go down to her LinkedIn. So Raytheon makes, for those of you guys unfamiliar, they make weapons of war. They literally profit off, like they did really well in the Bush years. They make drones, right? They sell things that kill people. And the government, so when the wars happen, they make a lot more money. That's who she works for. She's a software developer for them. And she's an engineer. So obviously she designs shit for them. And now she works, prior to that, she worked for Rave Mobile Safety. And she started working there in 2018, right when she bought the house in Hopkinton. Now, Rave is in Mobile Safety is in Framingham, which is 10 minutes from Hopkinton. Raytheon is in Marlboro, which is 10 minutes from Hopkinton. It would make perfect sense if she lived in Hopkinton. So that's why I was not expecting her to answer the door. But lo and behold, there she was. So why does somebody like this want to be on the Wachusett Regional School Committee? This is why. There's a Tracy Novick tweet. Oh, that bitch. Congratulations to Asima Silva for the first caucus Muslim. DC conference aims to give Muslim Americans a voice in politics. That's all this woman talks about, is how she's Muslim and is, diverse and equity and all this bullshit. She's full of shit. She builds up the Asima Silva brand. She's like Tony Branch, really, just wants to be on there as a resume builder. Like, Tony Branch doesn't give a shit about the kids in Southeastern. He's doing it for the resume builder. That's all she's doing this for, too. It's just like, I can say I'm on the Holden Regional School Committee for X amount of years. Right? She has a website called asimasilva.com. That's insane. Insane. She was invited by Congressman Jim McGovern to be his guest at the State of the Union because he was trying to stick it to Trump and show look at me, a Muslim band. I brought my own Muslim with me. What do you think of Trump? So she was his token Muslim at the State of the Union. I don't even know if she is Muslim, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, she says she's Muslim, but she's also from India. Not a lot of Indian Muslims. And she's also divorced, and she married a white guy. I don't know a lot of Muslims that do that. Just saying. I'm just throwing that out there, but whatever. Freedom of religion. Just Tony Branch turned out not to be a real bishop, so I'm starting to question all people who claim to be religious all the time. So she goes on. She frequently missed meetings. Because go to the Facebook post she made about McGovern. So it says, Holden residents, I am not at the school committee tonight since I'm at dinner with Jim McGovern. She actually wrote this. I will take my responsibility of school committee very seriously. I would not miss it unless another event will bring Wachusett more visibility and network. She's basically like, fuck you, I got elected. But I got invited out to. I'm important. I mean, if this tweet doesn't say climbing the ladder more than anything, I don't know what does. Basically, I'm fucking big shot. I'm Asima Silva. I'm Jim McGovern's pet Muslim, and he takes me out to dinner and shit. Look at me. I'm so important. I don't have time for your little school committee meetings. Oi, oi, oi. And so, yeah, she also chairs our local equity, diversity, and anti-racism subcommittee in the schools because God knows we need one of those. She pulled her own children out of the Holden Public Schools in 2013 and ran to the newspaper to cry about it because she said that a teacher at Wachusett was racist against her daughter for wearing a hijab. And this is what our school committee does, by the way. They talk about the current racist, sex, and violent mascot images. So we have a mountaineer, a guy with no feet and no shoes on, who carries a gun around to hunt raccoons and squirrels. That's our mascot. And we need to change that because it's bad or something. This is literally what she does. And how about this made up story? This is she attended the 2016 DNC, and it goes, Asima Silva of Holden says that her daughter told her, quote, make sure Trump doesn't win. so people won't hate us. First of all, I'll take things that never happened for $500, please, Alex. Secondly, if that actually did happen, then shame on you as a parent for poisoning your child with such nonsense. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. And yeah, like I said, there's a picture that was in the Turtlegram Gazette of her and her daughter. She pulled her daughter out of the Wachusetts schools after this. So clearly she doesn't even believe in the schools. And here she is thanking all these people for all the support. I love how she says, my mentor, that we couldn't have done it without all you guys. I think she says, keep going. Thank you to all those who stepped up when I couldn't. The last 10 days of Ramadan, new job and broken foot, the heroes behind the scene for all the hard work. So basically I didn't do shit and all these other people did everything for me. So thank you all for making sure that I got elected because, thank God Turtleboy didn't get elected. So that was part one. Let's bring up the second blog. And while you're doing that, Deb, let me just bring up they got a couple of donos I want to bring up here. I want to thank here our guy, Glamma Sue says, great interviews with the candidates, and she sends 25 big ones. So thank you very much, Glamma Sue. I appreciate that. Also, next up, we got, who do we got next? Got Tensky here from Brenda. She says, for the 10,000 kids that didn't die. All those poor kids suffocating to death. Those poor kids, give them a break. RJ sends 25 and says, as always, keep up the good work. Also, Didi Delgado or Monica Cannon Grant. If forced to choose, which one is more heinous? Ooh, honestly, Didi. Honestly, Didi is probably more heinous than Monica Cannon Grant. She's just less influential. So that's why Monica was the bigger story. She had actual influence. And the last one here is from Breshcott. She says, he sends 50. Thank you, Breshcott. She says, how do I find out who to vote for in the state in my city of Quincy, as well as how do I answer these questions? So let me give you a real easy tip on this one there, Breshcott. If it has an R next to it, just fill in the bubble, okay? Vote Republican down the ballot. That's my best piece of advice for you. If you live in Quincy, that means your representative for Congress is, I believe, Stephen Lynch, which for Massachusetts standards, you probably have the best congressman in Massachusetts. And that's not saying much. But, I'd still vote for his opponent if he has one. I have no idea. He's going to lose, whoever that is, because Stephen Lynch has been there since the beginning of time. I'm pretty sure he represents Quincy. For governor, vote for Jeff Deal. He's going to lose. He's going to lose. Do it anyway. Vote for Rayla Campbell. Just vote for Republicans and everything, and you'll be good. I don't know who your state rep is, so I can't comment on that, but I would vote for whoever the Republican is. I know David DeCoste is right around there, but I don't think he represents Quincy. He's a good guy. I assume if you live in Quincy that you have a Democratic state rep and a Democratic senator. I would just vote for their opponents, whoever the hell that is. So, yeah, that's that. I think that's it for the donos. So can we bring up the next blog there? There we go. Excellent. Sweet. Okay. And again, if anyone else would like to donate, we'll do another round of Turtle Chats after this one. There is a link at the top of the comment section. You can click on that, donate whatever amount of money you want, write a message. I will get an email notification when I get the message. I will bring it up on the big screen for everyone to read. So you can write whatever you want. Give a shout out to your boys, your homies, call somebody out. Maybe it's somebody's birthday. Maybe somebody owes you child support, whatever it is. Do it on the Turtle Chat. Okay. So round two here. So when I wrote that blog, I honestly thought I was so confused when she answered that door. I'm like, okay, I have so many more questions that need to be answered now. So, I got a message from a guy on Twitter, and let me read this message that I got from this gentleman here. There she is with Jim McGovern. Oh, get the State of the Union. Oh boy. So he goes, I live in the subdivision that the Silvas in. This is a guy I had previously spoken to about Michaela Miller. So this is Michaela Miller's town. Hopkinton is a very liberal town too. And it would make sense that she would want to live in a place like this. And it's wealthy. It's not one of the wealthiest in the state, but you have to have money to live in Hopkinton because Hopkinton is on the highway. It's where the Mass Pike intersection of 495. It's kind of like prime time real estate to live in Hopkinton. It's a cool town. So he goes, I live in the subdivision that the Silva's house is in, still being built, Highland Park. Their house is a hideous behemoth straight out of the Jersey Shore that they're building themselves, as in her and her husband and another relative show up every day in their minivan and hammer a nail or two and come back again the next day and the next day. It's been in construction for at least 3 years. Okay, so that's wild in and of itself that they're literally out there. That's like gypsy shit. What's going, like, when I heard this, I'm like, this is starting to smell more and more like gypsies, isn't it, folks? Like, how do you have this much money? So you go there every day for 3 years. You don't have a job. Where are you getting this money from? Like the Uxbridge Gypsy Church there, they had a really nice home in Uxbridge. They did driveways and shit. It's like gyps. There's like, this is, I could smell gypsies from a mile away. I have a very faint sniff, a hint of gypsy in the air. Let's just put it that way. So she goes on, they go on to say that it's in direct violation of our homeowners association covenant that it must be completed in 18 months after breaking ground. We've put a lien on the house because of this. I didn't even know. I thought only banks could do liens, but put a lien on the house. Another one is about to be served because their property is completely overgrown, which is also in violation of our covenants. They left a crushed porta potty in the front yard for months until our board finally threatened them with another one. So they moved it down the driveway. It's surrounded by beautiful, well taken care of homes valued between $1.5 and $2 million. The neighbors are furious. I'm told the last house they built in Holden was done under the same circumstances. I mean, it looks like it. That they built themselves and took years to complete. I mean, why wouldn't you hire a contractor? I know you don't want to get stuck with Eli Rigo, but like,
you know, at that extent, like, what are you doing? And they have an indoor pool, it says. Like, what is this? Like,
it's not a potluck dinner. Like, you got to hire someone, dude. You can't build your own shit. What? They're building their own freaking house.
I used to have neighbors who did the same thing. Like, the house had gotten repossessed, and an Indian family moved in next door, and they came in and they did all this work. They did like a deck and stuff, and a fence and all these things. And they were here for a while, like a year or two maybe. They moved out, and my next neighbor, like my newer neighbor, moved in, and he found that all the work they'd done was wicked shoddy. And it seemed more like their family had come in and done it instead of them hiring the professionals. Like, it was just enough to pass whatever muster they were trying to pass. But it's all starting to fall apart now. So he moved into like this big mess.
The whole thing is shady. So he goes, the neighbors are furious. I'm told the last house they built, blah, blah, blah. This one is currently working on, apparently as an indoor pool. As you've seen, it's nearly 10,000 square feet. Show the pictures of this freaking house. Like, that's obviously it's a huge house, but look at the freaking lawn, man. Keep going down. Let's look at some other pictures.
Crazy. That's like a jungle.
Look at that shit. They don't even have, I assume that's the freaking septic tank right there, that thing. Keep going.
Porta potty.
I mean, there's the porta potty in the back. Okay. And you see the rest of the houses in this neighborhood, and it's like, yeah, it looks like Pleasantville. You know, it's like these people are destroying your property value. Like, these people are setting your property value on fire. That's what they're doing with their gypsy shit here. And so here is the tweet. So I'm like, should I redact the kid's name from this or what? But you know what? The more I thought about it, I'm like, the teacher put it on Twitter. Why am I? Right. And I can't prove this unless I show the kid's name. So she goes, here's the tweet. I really enjoyed watching Yassine take pride in his work as he finalizes his inventive light device. I would like to point out that Hopkinton was the first school in the state to make masks optional. And they were also open. They had a hybrid during the school year. And so while she voted to keep our public schools in Holden closed and keep my kindergarten daughter locked in her room doing jumping jacks and crying, her son is going to school and doing hands-on shit, and he's in the honor society and having a good time. And while that's evil. to do that to other people's children, that infuriates me, man. I hope people get fired up about that. Infuriates me that these people were allowed to do this. And so this individual here, he got and by the way, they don't force masks at Hopkins, but he's wearing one anyway.
She does, yeah.
It's like that says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like like what is wrong with these people? So I noticed that there, and I pulled up another interview that she does interviews for some reason where she mentions the name of the son. So I confirmed that is in fact the name of her son. And play the clip here of the debate. Listen to what she says at the debate.
Thank you. My name is Asima Silva, and I've been serving on the school committee for the past 6 years and hope to get your vote again this year.
Yeah,
I am a Wachusett District alumni. I'm a software engineer and a mother of 3 Wachusett alumni and a mother of 2 children currently in the Wachusett School District. I have a passion for...
So there we go right there. I'm the mother of 2 who are currently in the Wachusett School Districts. This is April of 2021. In October of 2021, she's listed. Her son is listed as being in the National Art Honor Society, inducted. That means that he had to go to the school the year before. You don't show up to the school and get in the Honor Society. You have to be there the year before. So when she lied. Now, a lot of people, it's not illegal to lie, but it's unethical. And the question is, why would you lie? Why do you feel the need to deceive the public? What do you know it's wrong if you're hiding it? You know that this is wrong what you're doing. You know, if you want to serve the public schools, you better believe that they're good enough for your kids. Okay? Because if you're running the schools and they're not good enough for your kids, then what does that say about your schools? And why would you want to, you have to be an advocate for the schools if you're going to run them. That's absurd. That's absurd. That's like saying, like my dad is the coach of, my dad's the coach of the Patriots, but Patriots fucking suck, a bunch of cheaters. What? No, you can't say that. Like you have to be a cheerleader, a proponent for the district, and she's not doing that. Hopkinton. So upon further review here, the person that lives in that subdivision told me, quite point blank, Asima Silva does not live. Nobody lives in that house. So when Asima Silva told me that her husband is living there, that's a lie. And to me, it made no sense to begin with. And they go, no, it's uninhabitable. That's why there's a porta potty outside. Because there's no running water. So obviously nobody lives there. And now I'm like, brainstorming, like, how does the kid get to school every day? Well, I have a theory on that we'll get to. But Hopkinton does have a residency requirement. You have to live there to go to school there. It's right on their website. You have to live there. Living with the parent or legal guardian who have physical custody and are residents of Hopkinton. They're not. They're not residents of Hopkinton. I called the Hopkinton town clerk today to see if they're registered to vote there. They're not. They're registered to vote in Holden. They don't live in Hopkinton. Their entire tie to the community is that behemoth of a home there that sits there and drives down property value for the rest of the neighborhood. That is their connection to the town of Hopkinton. And so it's ironic too, because we have a similar policy in Holden that you have to live in the town. You can't just buy a home here and rent it out to somebody else and send your kids to school here. People from Worcester would be doing that all the time. You can't do it. So, we know this because she helped write the policy because she was on the school committee. So that's odd. Now, initially, I'm like, okay, this is shady. So there's another school. I'm like, how does she get? The kids obviously don't live in that house. So how do they get to Hopkinton every day? Well, as fate would have it, one of the members of our school committee from Holden, by the name of Laura Kirschenbaum, is a 7th grade teacher at Hopkinton. And Asima Silva lives right near the highway. So maybe she picks him up and drives him to school. I don't know. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, and she's a communist too. She helped to close down the school. She's horrible. She sucks. But as fate would have it, it makes sense to me that these kids would probably just go with their dad. Like if their dad is there every day with his hammer, building the home one nail at a time, it would make sense if he just gave him a ride to school. This is fraud. They are defrauding the town of Hopkinton. I have called the superintendent's office and their board of selectmen, and I have alerted them about it. But I'm not done making noise. So the fraud is being committed in Hopkinton. There's no fraud in Holden. There's nothing. She's not doing anything illegal. There's no election fraud. If she was like not living here, then we'd have something. But she's clearly living in Holden still, while pretending to live in Hopkinton and getting the benefits of that. So what I'm going to do is, we're going to go to meetings. I'm going to contact every single member of our school committee and be like, demand that this person resign. You clearly don't give a shit about this town or its schools, because its schools aren't good enough for your kids. You think our schools are so putrid that you send your children 40 minutes away every day to go to school in Hopkinton, in a place where they don't know anyone, where they're not a member of the community, where they didn't grow up. That's how repulsed you are of your own schools. You don't give a shit. You haven't been to a single meeting in years. Not one. You're a moron, and you need to resign in disgrace. And I'll be at every goddamn meeting doing that if I need to be. We can turn this into Tony Branch 2.0 right in my own town. Let's do it. Let's dance. So, yeah, you got busted by Turtleboy. You got busted. Asima, I didn't see this one coming. I just thought you were a moron. But as it turns out, you're also a grifter. You're also a fraud. And you've been exposed. And we're not done exposing you. And you can cry all you want. Oh, he's picking on me. Going to the town clerk show. Yep, I am. I am completely exposing you. And I will not relent until you resign, because you are hurting. What you did to my daughter, Asima, I'll never forget. And you don't give a shit about her. You don't give a shit about all of those kids that you hurt. Is mortgage fraud a felony? That's the other thing we need to consider. Is she committing mortgage fraud here by not living in these homes? She's getting the better interest rate. Sounds like she's defrauding the banks and the mortgage companies. A little bit to me. But you don't get to hurt my children and then play the victim. There needs to be a reckoning here with what these people did to our kids. We don't just get to move on. Oh, thank God the pandemic's over. We can go back to normal. Oh, no. Now the revenge part starts. Now they pay the price for what they did. So they get them. So the message is saying, you will not do this again to us. We will not allow it to happen. We won't. Even in a communist place like Massachusetts, we will not let you do this to our children. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. So that's my plan with that. That's my speech tonight. That's our show. All right. So I think we're good. We got another, got a Cash App here from Adam Nelson. The Cash App, by the way, is $ Uncle Turtleboy. And you can do it that way. He sends $3 and he says, does Raytheon know she commits mortgage fraud? That's a good question. We'll see. Anyway, all right, so let me let's see. Okay, cool. All right, so why don't we take any questions you guys have? We'll ask Turtleboy situation. If she never lived in the home, maybe a felony. Yeah, we need to start looking into this. If this lady wants, it's simple. Ask me. You resign, and I forget all about this. Okay, or just stay on the. Or you could pull a Tony Branch and double down, and play a little game called "Fuck Around, Find Out." We'll see how that one goes. Or don't poke the turtle. It's doing it again with this goddamn.
As you fade away, don't poke me. I'm leaving.
Hold on. Which side is it on? This one? Let me mess with this. Hold on.
Now you've frozen my screen. I don't know if you're frozen. Oh, no, you're back. Okay.
That's a little better.
Oh, Carrie showed up just in time.
Oh, for late night? Hey, oh, Jesus Christ. She's not even being subtle anymore. She's not even being subtle. Hello, Carrie.
10:30 rolls around, Carrie comes out.
Yeah. That screech was nasty. What's screech? No screech. All right. Anybody else have any other comments they want to, or anything, questions they have? They want to ask me, fire away. If not, the Celtics finish up winning. I didn't even see how the game ended. Doesn't really matter. It's just a regular season game. First one, just kind of interesting. What's the first thing Maura Healey will implement? Whatever comes across her desk. I mean, she's not going to be that much different from Charlie Baker. You'll see. Was Carrie ever subtle? No. She's gotten less and less.
She's gotten less
subtle.
shy. Yeah, she was a little bit shy.
Yeah,
at the beginning,
over time. Yeah. No, I haven't gotten it, Carrie. I have not gotten it. Okay. Oh, the Celtics won. There you go. Okay, good for them. Anyway, oh, you know what? I found a funny video of. I guess. Can you bring up that video of our friend Krusty Panties sharing her thoughts on revenge porn? Can you bring that clip up? This was sent to me. This was a riot, guys. Wait to hear this. This was just like talk about fake crying and queen irony. Oh, wait till you hear this. Wait till you hear this. Zappe or Mac. I mean, play the hot hand where you got it. It's an interesting situation on Monday night because if Zappe beats the Bears, which he should, we're gonna be like, holy shit, this dude's 3-0. Zappe Mania is gonna be crazy. Or if he loses, we're gonna be like, oh well, he's not the guy. He lost to the Bears. So either way, we're fucked. No matter what happens, like it's gonna be. I think we're gonna win. I mean, Zappe is legit, man. I think he's legit. He's not. The most important part about Zappe is he doesn't look nervous out there. You should be extremely nervous when you're a third-string rookie quarterback trying to make it in this league, and then he comes up there and he's just fucking not even the least bit nervous. He has pocket presence of a veteran. No, Krusty did not make points. Thank the good Lord. I would not hit play if they were sent to me. Trust me. Okay. Zappe, super terrific Zappe hour. I want to make those t-shirts. I know people have been to don't worry, be Zappe, but I like super terrific Zappe hour. Stop. Why is she saying stop? What? Did I say something wrong? Is it Zappe? What? Wait, what's wrong? Hold on. Why am I getting a message saying stop? Oh, it will? Hold on one sec. Hold on. Will it show the source of who sent this video? Okay. All right. Let's bring up. Anybody remember what point it happened? How about this? I'll just play on my end. I'll just play the audio of it because you don't really need to.
Yeah. That sounds good.
See it. Hold on one sec. All right, give me 1 sec to pull it up on my end. Thank you for that heads up there, Laura. Media files, media. All right, I got it. Don't worry, be Zappe. Yeah, but somebody already came up with that one, so I can't even copy it. Okay.
Hand egg.
Actually, I don't think it does show who it's from.
It does down the bottom.
Yeah, but I mean, keep that right there. Will you keep that thing on? Yeah. Don't get rid of Brushcott's comment. It's covered up.
Yeah, that's good now.
Okay, let's play it.
It's wicked quiet.
It is?
Yeah.
It's on full blast.
I can't hear anything.
Be quiet ears then.
Now I'm crying, and this is why I'm getting so angry, Kate. This is why I was like, I don't know if I can hold it together. I get real mad. This has to be stopped. And I've spoken to numerous families at this point.
So first of all, I have no idea who she's even talking about, nor do I care. I just don't. But this is typically what she likes to do is find some asshole on the internet and be like, that guy sucks, and I'm here to protect you. And that's how she makes you think that you know, like it's like you don't think to talk like, oh, she's the good guy. Who cares if she lost half of her kids due to child abuse, right? Who cares if she's a raging alcoholic whose children are constantly running away from her? Who cares about it? She must be good because there's this internet man out there and she's exposing him. So obviously, Kate has to be the good person in this scenario, right? So I have no idea what she's talking about, but just listen to the inauthentic way. You cannot hear it at all. Is that right? All right, hold on. Let me just start this. Oh, you can't hear it.
Yeah,
So
that's right. Everybody's got it blasted. No one can hear it. I can't hear it.
Okay, let me take this. Sometimes the headphones. All right, hold on. Go to audio. All right, let me know if you guys can hear this. Let me start over.
Not me. Now my husband,
Much better, yeah.
he could give him a run for his money, but he's not going to converse with a man like that. But it's easy to do it to a mom whose heart is fucking shattered. It's a whole lot easier.
So again, I have no idea who this woman is, why she's crying. I'm assuming the guy that she's exposing is probably a shitty person. Like, let's be honest, the people that she talks about, they're shitty people, right? And that's how she disguises her own shittiness, by talking about shitty people. Maybe you won't notice what a shitty person she is. And so she's going to sit there and there's going to be some fake crying going on here. Watch this.
See, now I'm crying, and this is why I'm getting so angry, Kate. This is why I was like, I don't know if I can hold it together. I'm going to get real mad.
This has to be stopped. And I've spoken to...
And by the way, the woman she's talking to is Shannon LeBerry, the woman who ran the Turtleboy Secrets account. She was just a diehard turtle rider for years, would not stop messaging me. We used to make fun of this chick all the time because I'm like, dude, this chick is fucking crazy. She won't stop messaging me with story ideas. And she would send me shit on Kate all the time. Like, Kate is such a fucking ratchet piece of shit, such a horrible mother, blah, blah, blah. Like, she was rugged on this woman. And for good reason, because Kate Peter's pretty fucking ratchet. But yeah, so basically, let's listen to the fake cry here.
Numerous families at this point. I spoke to 2 women tonight that were so terrified of the blackmail that this man is holding over their heads that they told me, we just want you to know. We just want someone to hear this and what happened. And I don't even think that we can talk about it in public because...
First of all, look at this. Look at the crying. And she's talking about blackmail. This guy is such a bad person because of blackmail.
Terrified of him attacking and humiliating them. He's, threatened to extort. He threatened to post a woman's nudes. He's gone to threaten to. This is what a fantastic investigator is.
Threatened to post a woman's nudes. Remind me, Deb. Remind me. Why does Kate Peter currently have a restraining order out on here for a full year and is facing criminal charges?
I don't know, because she might have promoted revenge porn. Posted
Yeah,
herself.
she literally posted naked pictures of a woman, intimate photos of a woman who she didn't know, who she's never met before, and posted the woman's address and sent people to her house and threatened and did this for 9 months. 9 months. Until finally the woman had enough. And she went down to West Roxbury District Courthouse, and she got herself a temporary order, had a hearing with a judge there, and that's when Kate bought Girl Boss Attorney, who attempted to slut shame the woman. Which, pro tip, is not a good idea if you want to present yourself as the good guy, and failed. She seems to think this lawyer did a good job, but she had one job, and that was not get the order, and it failed. And so what you saw in court when that day was actual tears from an actual victim who had her naked pictures posted of her by Kate Peter. And when they were in court that day, the victim's attorney pointed out, Your Honor, she's doing a live stream tonight. Here's the cover photo for the live stream tonight. Oh yeah, naked pictures of the woman. Still up. And then Kate is going to sit here and say, what were you saying about revenge porn, Kate?
humiliating them. He's, threatened to extort. He threatened to post a woman's nudes. He's gone to threaten to.
And this is how you know she's full of shit.
Just threatened. Hasn't even done it yet. And she's
hasn't even done it yet. She actually did it. She was threatening to post mine for a long time too. Knock yourself out. Everyone's seen them by now.
Yeah, right. That was already done. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed. I got the extra emoji. I'm not ashamed. No one's ashamed. Okay, you don't scare me. And ultimately, she knew after a while. Oh wait, he's not intimidated when I post the jerk off videos. Well, let's post somebody else too. Let's humiliate somebody else he knows. And so that's just ultimate irony, ultimate full of shit there to pretend to care about. Oh, I'm so sad he's threatening the roast. Poor bitch, you do it all the time. You're doing it. You literally have a full year order out on you because you did that to an innocent person who did nothing to you, who's never spoken to you. You sent Leah Jen Duso to her fucking house. That happened. You took fucking pictures of her outside of her house. You did that. And that's why you got an order on you. You fucking psychopath. So again, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. But just like Asima Silva, she's found her grift. I think karma will eventually get her one day. It ain't gonna last forever. I mean, it kind of has. Like, you lost your kids forever. You're never gonna be a mother to your two youngest children. So you could say whatever you want about me, but you lost that. You lost literally the most important thing in the world, your children, and you're never going to see them again. They're never going to call you mom. They're never going to know their brother and sister. And you did that. That was your failure. You chose alcohol and men over them. And you did that. And that you have a YouTube channel now. Congratulations. That's really cool. You got a lot of views. That's great. I'm really proud of you. I got my kids. I'm always going to have 100% of my kids. And you never, ever will. And all of the YouTube views and subscribers in the world isn't going to change that. It's not going to make you feel better. It's not going to make you a good person. You're always going to be the child abusing loser who lost her children to the state. That's it. So it's really all there is to it. So anybody else have any other questions? Did you get the police report?
Yeah, I want to know this too.
Yes, I did. There was no police report. Well, first of all, they went to the house in East Longmeadow. He doesn't live there. So how are we supposed to send someone to a place where we don't know where he lives?
Damn it.
Yeah. Those kids are going to hate her guts forever. Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, the younger two, hopefully the younger two don't even know who she is. The older two, especially the son, is definitely going to hate her when he gets older. The daughter will probably turn into her. She proudly calls her like, yeah, Shannon and her, we go out together all the time. Oh, that's normal. Oh, that's really normal. Hanging out with a 16-year-old runaway, a troubled child. Oh, that's normal, Kate. The one that you called a prostitute. Remember when you did that, Kate? Oh, Aidan called my daughter a prostitute. And I bet you, actually, you did that. You said that your daughter was hooking herself in Boston when she ran away from home the second time. I apologize. The mental facility she ran away from. You're the one that said suggested that she was a prostitute, and then Brett kind of ran with it from there. I've been scaring Kate off of posts. I just bring up the HPO, and she stops responding. It is funny. She tried to troll that Terry guy's live. Yeah, keep doing it, John Hanson. It's like everyone should do that when you see her on YouTube. Just reminder, you have a full year restraining order on you. And I've seen this guy, he comes up on my feed, the Irish demon guy. Have you seen this gentleman before on YouTube? He actually has good production value on his videos. It's actually pretty good. I don't know a goddamn thing about him. He seems like a decent person. Seems normal. Does he have any idea who Kate really is? Does he know that she's a child abusing loser?
Oh God, no, probably not.
Yeah, it's like these poor people out there who seem to think that like, oh yeah, and I was once in their situation. I hired her. She worked for me for a year and a half. I thought she was a decent, regular, working class mother who, had a little bit of a past, but who doesn't, and kind of worked through it and was a victim of domestic violence. I get it. I'm sympathetic towards that, but that's not what she is. She's a raging alcoholic who abuses and neglects her kids, had a DCF plan for almost 8 years, actually almost 10 years. It first started in 2007, her DCF involvement. She didn't get full custody of her kids, I believe, until 2017. So yeah, 10 years in which she basically did it. So, she doesn't even exist off of YouTube. So what does it matter? Nobody knows who the fuck she is. But it is sad to see people in the YouTube community, if you will, who seem to believe and who seem like decent people themselves, who are just falling for the same grift that I did many years ago. And it's just, you hate to see it, but maybe they'll figure it out someday. We'll see. Yeah, I'm with you. Did Asima Silva get an invite? No, she did not. I have no way to read. I don't think she would come on anyway.
You should go knock on her door again and be like, hey.
Yeah, you want to come on our show? Yeah.
If you wanted to bait me.
Yeah. I agree with Anne Marie. It's like when I go back and read her blogs, they did have a very condescending feel to them. And just the way she would talk about, even like she wrote about some good scumbags, like Mike Cadena was a real big scumbag, but I go back and read that and I'm just like, now that I know everything about her, I'm like, where was she?
It's a different feeling. Totally.
Yeah,
I was a big fan of her blogs prior. And then when you wrote that, like, tell all, I was like blown. I went back and read some stuff and it was just like, it hits different once you know, like, what goes on,
You talking about, the blog where she called me her idol?
Yeah, that one. That's like, and just generally when you found out what was going on and fired her and everything and the split happened, like going back and reading her stuff again, it's like, okay, that feels different now,
She did make $18,000 off those poor idiots. And again, that's their money.
And nobody questioned it still.
And that's fine. It's like, she's a scam artist and it's not even illegal what she's doing. It's perfectly legal. But she's allegedly spent $10,000 on the chili lawyer, which is such a waste of money. I wouldn't even spend a dime. And she spent $2,500 on the attorney for the actual criminal charge she's facing. She should probably do the opposite: $10,000 on the actual thing that matters, and $2,500 on the stupid chili lawsuit, which she knows she's going to win the chili lawsuit. Everybody knows it's going to and then Chili's such a fucking moron that he's giving her these layups. He's like, dude, he's a wet dream for her. He's such a moron that he'll come around and be like, write this ridiculous lawsuit that she will obviously win because what retard couldn't beat Chili in a court of law? He doesn't know anything. And then she'd be like, yeah, Kate always wins. Yeah, she beat Chili. She beat the Jets. So there, she beat the Bears. Yeah, come and play the Vikings or the Eagles and then talk shit to the Bills. You're right. What I did to her was expose the truth. That's what she really hates me for. She wanted me to just sit down and take it while she badmouthed me and made up lies on the way out to my followers, and I wasn't going to put up with it. Yeah, sign up for Rumble, guys. Turtleboy Daily News on Rumble. Sign up for our Locals account. Search for us on Locals because we will be migrating to there shortly. Yeah, I mean that's your prerogative if you want to do that.
Honestly, I don't get how she's still monetized or hasn't gotten like bans or anything for 2 weeks.
Because nobody reports it. I mean, I'm sure if enough people, why do I get demonetized? Because people just report me all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I suppose I just don't have time. Her people have time to do that. Our people don't. But I would encourage, go ahead, do that. Yeah, report, see what happens. Probably not gonna do anything. The reason I won't organize a campaign to do that is simply because probably wouldn't work. To be perfectly honest with you, because I don't trust Google, so I'm not going to waste my time. What's my favorite Pornhub category? I don't really go on Pornhub. I have different ways. You know what I do actually?
Different ways.
It's a little trick to trade here. Start with Google Images, and then that's a nice little thumbnail there, and then you check it out, and then click on the link from there. That's a little trick of the trade I learned right there. That way the world, because you go on Pornhub, if it's not on there, if it's not on Pornhub, because not every video, not all the great, there's a lot of versions of the same video, like clips, like nobody's going to upload the entire, most of the time you're not getting the full 35-minute, suck and fuck. So you're going to have to go and get, this is the nighttime turtle shit here, by the way. So you're going to have to get a 7-minute clip here, a 6-minute clip here, whatever, maybe a 90-second clip. maybe just go for the money shot at the end. I don't know. So I would just recommend, if you want to see, the world is your oyster shell. If you use Google Images and just use the thumbnail, I'm telling you right now, it works. Reddit has porn. I did not know that. That's interesting. So does Twitter. Has a lot of porn. Twitter has a lot of porn. Who is I don't like Rumble. Okay, yeah. I mean, I did have a meeting with them today, like I said, and I said that I'm not going to fully.
Well, yeah, with locals, right?
I made locals and Rumble owned by the same people, and so I said, okay. I will not make the move fully to Rumble until it becomes more user friendly. Like that, it has to be as user friendly as YouTube, or it's not going to work. It's not going to work. People go to YouTube because it's user friendly, and they've let us stay on this whole time, right? So like they're not that censorious. They haven't kicked us off yet, but I can see the writing on the wall, and I just don't want to be part of this.
Right.
The popularity of porno is weird. Porno is easily the most like visited, like hundreds
category,
of millions. Yeah, like it is easily the most trafficked genre of internet website in the world. Nothing's even close. Like, it's wild. And it's all like, who are the people that pay for porn? That's what I want to know. Who pays for porn? Anybody out there pay for it? They must make a living doing it, right? I mean, these people are like this porn stars. They're like, obviously they make. You're gonna do that. You better be rich doing that. Who are the people paying for that shit? I've never paid a goddamn dime. I just read the stories. I don't watch the videos. Women prefer to read. I didn't know videos had stories, but
the softcore things that used to be on like Cinemax.
Apparently, do you guys still get the Playboy in the mail, like in the penthouse letters?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean. That's my question, man. Stop it there, 7-pounder. That's creepy, my guy.
Right? Ew.
Yeah, it'd be different if the lady said that's creepy, my guy. It's weirding me out there, 7-pounder. You're weirding me out. What are you, Gaffney? What are you?
Right?
What? Hitting the play button 5,000 times?
Take out an RO. Come on.
Yeah. It's weird when like people tell me they've seen that and they're like, dude, why'd you use a freaking paper towel? You were in the bathroom. I'm like, I don't know.
People critiquing your friggin' form and shit. Like,
yeah,
why are you paying this attention?
My friends have said that. They're like, dude, why'd you use a paper towel when you were in the bathroom?
That's their big fucking
I don't know.
concern.
Just force of habit. I don't know. I guess I could have just washed it down the sink. I don't know. Or the toilet. I don't know. But anyway, people have seen way too much of me. And it's just part of my life now. And that's okay. I've come to terms with it. It's okay. I'm over it. Okay. Anybody else? That's why I don't understand OnlyFans. Like the benefit, the thing with OnlyFans, I think people see is like, you see the girl next door who you wouldn't be able to see on like the women that you see on the porn sites are like, they're not real. They don't have souls. You'll never see them in real life. Never have sex with anybody who looks like that. Whereas OnlyFans, the appeal of it is just like, oh, it's your neighbor. You know, it's the girl from your chem class who's sticking dildos up her twat for $2.99 a month, and you can, she'll let you jerk off to her. Like that's the appeal of OnlyFans. That's why people do it. So, yeah, I am a public figure, 7-pounder. It doesn't make it any less creepy, my dude. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? What do you think of the early Bruins success? I mean, good. I mean, I was a doubter. I'm like, oh, we're bringing back the same people. Krejci, Bergeron's a year older. I'm like, well, this should end well. But they all scored in the first game. And then the third and fourth liner scored in the second game. No Marchand for a while, right? No McAvoy for a bit. The Bruins always make the playoffs. I mean, not always. Like 90% of the time, I feel like they make the playoffs. They're going to be in the playoffs, so we'll see. We'll see. You know how I feel about hockey. Just wake me up in April. Thanks to OnlyFans, all the friends. I was curious how they looked naked. It's true. It's very, very true. So, I'm watching now. Way to go to the two female independent women of Brockton running. Yeah, thank you, Nitro. I appreciate it. Otto Sanctum tonight. So okay. So I mean, they're going to lose some games. It happens. And I haven't heard from him. I thought about him today, but
yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard from Gennady. That's good. I mean, he'll reappear. I'll get a message from one of his 5 million accounts. He'll be like, "Why are you stealing my copyright?" I'll get one of those one of these days now. Give me back my son.
You can
I
just
got
tell
my
him
son.
he needs to call Uncle Touchy. It's not you. It was Uncle Touchy.
Surprised he hasn't messaged. Even Janetti wasn't dumb enough to message that page.
Right? That says a lot.
All right, guys. So that's the end of our program tonight. It's 11 o'clock. So remember, we're starting on time from now on. That's my new thing. And thank you guys all for the donos, all who donated to that. I really appreciate it. And thank you for joining us. And don't forget to vote in 3 weeks. All right, guys. Thank you, Deb, for joining us as well.
Anytime.
Peace, Turtle Riders.
We'll see you Thursday night if you're in Turtle Club and Saturday for the next live show if you're not.
Goddamn right.
Right? Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.